Although 2016 was a tough year for all producers, and Nigeria is no exception.
Conference to take the Nigerian oil and gas sector to greater heights opens in Abuja.
Public service is really the backbone of society itself, not just the backbone of government, but the backbone of society itself.
Better days for Nigeria's civil service as acting president unveils full-goal strategic plan. Plus, Nigeria's Senate takes practical steps to address xenophobic attacks on Nigerians in South Africa. Welcome to this edition of NTA Network News with me, Muhammad Kuda Abubakar. Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Dr. Emmanuel Ibe Kachiku, has restated government's commitment to the 2018 timeline to put a stop to the importation of refined petroleum products and rejigging of the domestic refining. A step OPEC Secretary General Dr. Mohamed Sanusi Barakindo says should be pursued vigorously with oil and gas energy demand expected to increase in Africa. For now, the continent is the largest net product importer region. Energy correspondent Hawa Salihu Adama reports that this is part of discussions at the 16th Nigeria Oil and Gas Conference and Exhibition.
At the center of all oil and gas activities is the satisfaction of energy needs. For industry players comprising government, the private sector, international partners and oil companies, experts and legislators, the 2017 Nigeria Oil and Gas Conference is the platform for the convergence of ideas on achieving this goal. Emmanuel Ibe Kachiku led the pack on reforming and repositioning the industry in Nigeria, bridging infrastructure gap, eliminating militancy, growing reserves, reducing cost of production and updating legislations through the Petroleum Industry Bill are his selling points.
I'd love to see, wake up and see this country ramp up its production to at least 2 million barrels by 2021. I'd like to see a threefold increase in gas supply in this country. I'd like to see jobs in this sector stop contracting and indeed explode.
For key drivers like the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, strategizing for profitability is the priority.
Our strategic thrust is to build and maintain backbone gas infrastructure network across Nigeria while managing transmission of gas across the network. A clear roadmap and strategy for the rehabilitation of the existing refineries is one of our priorities to drive benefits from the assets.
But for all efforts by government and players to make meaning, OPEC Secretary General is emphatic. Resources must be used more efficiently to support developmental aspirations in line with the 2017 market focus.
Although 2016 was a tough year for all producers, and Nigeria is no exception, the 2017 focus for the country is positive, with a growing output target and some exciting new discoveries. In addition, notable reforms to the NMPC is a train that cannot be stopped. The targets are achievable. We have seen what we have achieved. The exiting of this huge challenge of cash calls.
As discussions continue at the conference, experts are unanimous that Nigeria's current production at about 2 million barrels per day be boosted to 2.2 million barrels and reserves increased for maximum benefit from OPEC cumulative daily production, projected at 41 million barrels per day by 2040, following increased global population. In Abuja, I'm Hawa Salihu Adama, NTA News.
With me in the studio to discuss the 16th Nigeria Oil and Gas Conference and Exhibition is Dr. Ladi Bada, Chief Executive Officer, Shoreline National Resources. Dr. Bada, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Also here is Bello Rabiu, Chief Operating Officer, Upstream of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. Madam Rabiu, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
To begin with you, Dr. Bada, the OPEC Secretary General is reported to have said, and I quote, although there is need to support Nigeria's diversification drive, just like other OPEC countries he has visited. However, diversification remains music for the future, as oil and gas will continue to be relevant for many more years. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, thank you very much. We in the private sector, we strongly believe in diversification. We believe what government is doing now, as noble as it is, we believe the private sector can do it a whole lot better. And one of the major ways in which this can be done has already been achieved by NNPC and the Minister of Petroleum by trying to get themselves out of the cash call process. And by doing this, they are allowing private sector companies to go raise funding, largely required funding for oil and gas investments. Once they do this, the government will be able to free itself and be able to use some of this cash for social development, which in itself also helps the masses, so to speak. So we think that will in itself will help diversification. We can use most of this money back into the national treasury, and this will help diversification of the whole economy itself.
And Madam Bello Rabiu, the issue of domestic refining remains a major challenge in Nigeria. What do you think is the best way to address this in Nigeria so that we can continue to get the maximum benefits from rising crude oil revenues?
Thank you very much. Again, the refineries were established to ensure that we have self-sufficiency of products availability in the country. These refineries had been in place for some time, but they were never maintained well. So the key issues to resolve are the issues of making the refineries work, making the refineries get crude as and when required, which is related to security situation in the country. Once those issues are solved, I think the next step is for the refineries to be worked together with private sector to ensure that we deliver.
One of the challenges that the existing refineries appear not to be up to speed, if you like, the capacity is not equal to the demand.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. The key issue is that the refineries cannot deliver without solving these problems. If the refinery cannot get crude oil, it cannot process the crude oil. From the crude oil terminals.
You are not talking of efforts to get more refineries.
We are getting that again. In fact, Dangote is building a refinery in Lagos. We believe in the next 3 years, refinery of Dangote will come.
Out of the issue of modular refineries.
Yeah, that also is being talked about, and we believe, in fact, there's one modular refinery in Nigeria which people don't know. There's one refinery in Imo State currently producing 1,000 barrels per day.
Now, very quickly, the two of you, boosting reserves and production is critical at this period. How can Nigeria achieve this goal? Dr. Bada, first you.
Well, boosting reserve is something that's very critical for the development of the country. And obviously for us, I speak as non-NNPC, the independent side of the oil and gas industry. We believe also within that also, we divide our space into the indigenous and also the international companies, the IOCs. We believe the indigenous companies have a big role to play in doing that. And if we get enough government support in this, we will be able to do that. So we believe, first of all, first things first, passing the PIB will go a long way in giving people the safe haven that they require in doing further investments.
Yeah. Well, reserve, of course, means continuation of your production. If there is reserve addition at all time, you have produced your reserve more than what you have produced, it means you continuously produce oil and gas. So to be in that situation, we need to add investment, and to get investment, we have to attract the investors to come in and invest, and that is necessary.
Is NNPC doing that?
We are doing that very well. In fact, as we speak today, we are working on the fiscal policies that will attract more investment to the country, and the fact that we are exiting cash call means investment also will be available for exploration.
Dr. Ladi Bada, Chief Executive Officer, Shoreline Natural Resources, Malam Bello Rabiu, Chief Operating Officer, Upstream, NNPC. Thank you so much for coming to the studio.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Moving on now, a 4-goal strategic plan to reposition Nigeria's civil service has been unveiled by the acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday reports that the unveiling was at the quarterly civil service lecture series held at the State House, Abuja.
Culture change program, enterprise management system, commercial orientation, and improved welfare packages are the 4 goals expected to bring about the needed change in the civil service.
Unveiling the strategic plan 2017 to 2019.
Unveiling the plan, acting President Yemi Osinbajo believes that the population of civil servants can effect the needed change in Nigeria.
Public service is really the backbone of society itself, not just the backbone of government, but the backbone of society itself. Because when you look at it, the public service presents an incredible opportunity. It is a privilege representing through service one's country and one's people. It's the incredible chance to be a part of the fabric of development of policies, of concepts and ideas that transform the lives of millions and generations.
Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Winifred Oyo-Ita, reaffirmed that the civil service is structurally independent and therefore a tool for the implementation of government policies.
Countries with more efficient and effective public service tend to achieve higher levels of economic growth, and this helps the country to attract more investment, offer higher quality public services, encourage higher levels of human capital accumulation, put foreign aid resources to better use, accelerate technological innovation, and increase the productivity of government spending.
The lecture was attended by past heads of service, retired and serving permanent secretaries. Change is now. Nigerians are changing, and the present administration wants civil servants to change with time and take advantage of the new opportunities in their workplaces that will translate to national development. From the State House, Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
Nigeria has recorded another landmark achievement by being the first member of the United Nations to launch a private sector advisory group on the Sustainable Development Goals. Acting President Yemi Osinbajo, who inaugurated the group, urged the Nigerian elite to be more involved in efforts to transform society. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
It is my special pleasure and privilege to inaugurate one and all this special advisory group of the Nigerian private sector for the Sustainable Development Goals.
Among the mandate of the private sector's advisory group is to engage with the Nigerian private sector to partner with the Sustainable Development Goals Office to implement an agreed roadmap. Acting President Yemi Osinbajo described this as a good development.
A lot of our people hang their hopes on us. They hang their hopes on us. No matter how we slice it, people look up to us and believe that we can do it. And despite all the failures and all the false starts, our people, especially the poor and the vulnerable, still believe that this elite, this political elite, this private sector elite will deliver and can deliver. So I just want to say, and I want to urge all of us, that let us take this as a personal responsibility, not a corporate responsibility, a personal responsibility to our people.
Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs, Adejoke Orelope Adefulire, says as stakeholders, it is important to direct the focus of key players in the private sector to engage with the Economic Recovery Growth Program of government.
I am convinced that standing together and stronger together, this generation can improve the outcomes of the next generation.
And the private sector must move to the center stage and occupy the engine room of the Sustainable Development implementation process.
I do believe, sir, that we can significantly work with you and hopefully also impact visibly and measurably on the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, which we commend you on having initiated.
The real bright star is in ensuring flawless execution by all stakeholders in the achievement of the SDGs.
The United Nations Addis Ababa Action Agenda emphasized the deployment of a robust financing framework as an indispensable ingredient for the successful implementation of the SDGs, and therefore recommended the establishment of the Global Private Sector Advisory Group as a powerful platform. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
The Senate is to send a high-powered delegation of lawmakers to the South African Parliament to discuss the issue of safety of Nigerians resident in the country. This follows the renewed xenophobic attacks and extrajudicial killings against Nigerians in South Africa. National Assembly correspondent Waziri Zayanu has the report.
The Senate's decision was made clear by the pronouncement of the President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, after a long deliberation on the floor by the distinguished senators on the ills of xenophobic attacks on Nigerian residents there.
We must take the bull by the horn and put an end to this The two countries have always enjoyed an enviable relationship, and we should not allow that to deteriorate.
The distinguished senators vehemently show their resentment against the recent xenophobic attacks against Nigerian residents in South Africa, triggered by the motion moved by Senator Rose Oko, in which she described the attack as one too many.
In the early hours of Saturday, 18th of February 2017, South Africans reportedly attacked and looted businesses owned by Nigerians in Pretoria.
It took the contribution, support and commitment of Nigeria to get them out of the apartheid.
When the Nigerian government began to ration rooms such that second-year students could no longer stay on campus, our brothers and sisters from Southern Africa were exempted from this rule.
Meanwhile, in view of the gravity of the dismal effect of the xenophobic attack as expressed by the distinguished senators, Minister of State Foreign Affairs Khadijat Abba Ibrahim has been summoned by the National Assembly Joint Committee on Foreign Affairs to explain what the executive arm of government is doing regarding the attacks.
The federal government will be careful not to exacerbate matters, particularly as they could potentially undermine friendly and fraternal ties with other countries, especially those in Africa.
Chairman of the Joint Committee urged the federal government to be decisive with prompt action in engaging South African government on the matter. Back at the plenary, Senator Barros Jibrin's motion called for urgent steps to address all aviation operational challenges in Nigerian airports.
More often than not, airlines are diverted to smaller neighboring countries with state-of-the-art navigational facilities.
Senator Obinna Ogba's motion, however, dwelt extensively on the deplorable state of the National Stadium, Surulere, Lagos.
This once honored stadium and the pride of the nation has become a shadow of itself.
Meanwhile, Justice Walter Onoge has been scheduled for confirmation as Chief Justice of Nigeria at Wednesday's Senate plenary. From the National Assembly, Wazir Zayan, NTA News.
Still at the National Assembly, the House of Representatives has passed for second reading a bill for an act to provide for the enforcement and punishment of crimes against humanity, such as war crimes and genocide. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nko reports.
The imperative of this bill might not be unconnected with Nigeria's experience with insurgency, communal disputes, and related crimes as part of Nigeria's share as a member of global community. Because experience has shown that more often than not, law enforcement and adjudication in many countries, especially developing nations, is always difficult dealing with this class of crimes, as the Rome Statute has to be followed, especially to avoid reprisal by some supposedly aggrieved parties. The bill, sponsored by Representative Osai Nicholas Osai from Delta State, seeks to domesticate certain provisions of the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court, which Nigeria signed in Rome, Italy in 2000.
We provide the necessary legal framework for providing appropriate criminal sanction to perpetrators of mass crimes.
We lend our voices and support this bill because not only does it answer to our security issues, it answers to our constitutional requirements.
The issue of conflicting figures on local debt owed by the federal government came up on the floor as members urged the federal government to carry out verification of all debt owed contractors by the federal government before payment, as moved by Representative Emmanuel Oke-Jeff from Benue State.
The estimated amount allegedly being owed local contractors may not be real.
The legislators also resolved to investigate the activities and procurement process of Nigerian embassies and high commissions to ensure due process, jointly moved by Representative Rita Oji and Sajos Ogun.
Nigerians in the diaspora are manipulated as those whose passports have expired are kept in detention, and in the process they lose their assets and investments.
The House observed a minute silence in honor of one of its former members, Edward Gamba, from Kaduna State, who died last month. Meanwhile, as budget defense rounds off at the National Assembly, the National Judicial Council has appeared before the House Committee on Federal Judiciary, where the committee commended the federal government for responding to the financial needs of the judiciary.
It's my prayer and hope that this gesture of the federal government will be copied and replicated in 36 states of the Federation.
A total of 100 billion naira has been proposed for the judiciary in the 2017 budget. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Inspector General of Police Ibrahim Idris has again restated the commitment of the Nigeria Police Force to sustain efforts towards maintaining peace in the West African sub-region. The Inspector General of Police stated this when he received the Vice President of the ECOWAS Commission, Edward Singasi. Timothy Yusuf report.
Nigeria Police Force has been in the forefront in the restoration of peace, law and order in Guinea-Bissau and other countries within the West African sub-region. It is in acknowledgement of this and to seek more that the ECOWAS Vice President Edward Singati visited the Inspector General of Police, where he reiterated that the Commission is not taking the efforts for granted.
And secondly, we came to also pledge and come up with a payment plan to settle the debt that we owe the police officers that served in ECOMIP in Guinea-Bissau.
We are at any point ready to provide men and materials to support peace and security in the ECOWAS sub-region.
The Inspector General of Police later opened a one-day seminar for zonal and command police public relations officers as part of the efforts to reposition the force to deal with new challenges. The IGP enjoined the participants to foster and evolve effective dialogue for better understanding between the public and the police in their various commands.
We as police officers have to conduct ourselves in a positive way because before the people can appreciate us. But it's always important that if we keep quiet and we don't beat our drum, the negative aspects of what some few of us do will subsume the positive.
Speakers at the seminar believed that the crisis of perception confronting the police can only be overcome through effective public relations mechanism.
We continue to support the Nigerian police force because they are our key ally.
With the changing times in which we are now, the dynamism in the global world, new trends are coming into the profession.
With representation from all zonal and state commands of the police, it is expected that the impact of the seminar should be felt immediately. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, says an action plan that will engage all actors in the media and entertainment industry in the country is critical in taking advantage of the enormous entertainment potential of collaborating with Morocco. He stated this when he received members of Kannywood in Abuja. Correspondent Musa Abubakar has the report.
The visit was informed by the deed to intimate the minister on the recent visit by members of Kannywood to Morocco and areas of interest which could be beneficial to the media and entertainment industry in Nigeria. The minister, who welcomed the development, identified infrastructure deficit and funds as a major impediment to the media and entertainment industry, explaining that the ministry is working with Copyright Commission and police to address the persistent problem of piracy. Lai Mohammed also revealed plans by the ministry to collaborate with the British Council and other stakeholders on capacity development for media and entertainment practitioners.
And I was quite impressed and excited that Morocco has such a highly developed, call it a more mature media and entertainment industry. But nonetheless, because of our size, because of our market and because of our potentials, they are also very eager to have some form of cooperation with Nigeria.
Leader of the delegation, Mohammed Kabir Mikaba, identified capacity building and well-developed infrastructure as areas Nigeria can benefit if they should partner with Morocco.
We went around all the cinema houses, the equipment centers, the television stations, and everywhere. We were all informed and we have seen what we have not learned from what we are doing here.
In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Still to come, Abuja-Kaduna Highway certified OK as Abuja International Airport closure looms. This and more after this break.
From what we have seen, we have the capacity which we can rapidly develop or feed in ourselves. If we don't import rice, we stop importing corn and other grains, Nigeria will have plenty of money to invest into developing industries. especially manufacturing, textiles and so on, and develop iron and steel, and complement the infrastructure development. So really, the opportunities are virtually limitless, and we are very, very aware of this, and we are prepared to exploit it to the fullest.
Mommy, more. Where would I be without you? Now you be my best friend. Now you be my sister. Now you be my mentor, and you are still my mama.
Now you wash, oh, my infant head, oh, everything for you I go do, mama.
Every day should be Mother's Day. Show your mom love in the Peekadoo way. Prepare a special meal with Peak Milk. Peak. Reach for your peak.
The Tony Elumelu Foundation's $100 million entrepreneurship program is empowering Africa's next business leaders. 10,000 entrepreneurs, 54 countries. Become a Tony Elumelu entrepreneur. Apply now.
Hello?
Welcome to the M6 Challenge. Using your new Gioni M6, carry out everything on that list. Starting now. Get to the door. Congratulations, you have passed the test.
Gioni M6 with a 5,000 milliampere battery that lets you go on for 2 days on a single charge.
Gioni M6, always in power.
Pump it up while your feet are stomping and the gym is pumping. Look at the crowd is jumping. Pump up your jam and push up your hand. You know, say me fans them plenty like sun. Jump up and dance, make them understand. Say me energy could I never be contraband. No matter what life throws at me, I can handle it constantly. All of my fans them invited. DJ, make my day.
Make my day. Make my day. Make my day.
Whenever pain occurs, you want quick relief. Try new Nurofen Express. It goes to the source of pain and gets to work in under 15 minutes. That's why Nurofen Express delivers fast and effective relief. New Nurofen Express works at the source of pain. Fast.
Being a mom is great, but when your child has a fever, you don't know what to do. I trust Nurofen for Children to take care of my child's pain and fever.
Effective relief you can trust.
The Future Assured project and its components Get Involved, initiated by the wife of the President, Her Excellency Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, is not relenting in championing the cause of Nigerian women and children. Its provision of free medical screening, educational support, and the fight against malnutrition, especially in the Northeast, has indeed informed international recognition, partnerships and awards.
We are very grateful and appreciative for your wonderful gesture you have accorded to us.
With Future Assured, Nigerian women and children are assured of a bright future.
Future is assured when we join hands to promote the health of our women and children. Get involved.
Get involved and support the Future Assured initiative. Future Assured, promoting and protecting the lives of Nigerian women and children.
Following the approval of the whistleblowers policy by the Federal Executive Council and its launch by the Minister of Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, patriotic Nigerians have been making inquiries on how and where they could deliver information that could lead to the stopping or uncovering of fraud to the appropriate authority and answers to frequently asked questions. The Federal Minister of Finance has therefore dedicated a telephone line for receiving SMS, a whistleblowers portal, and an email address through which members of the public who volunteer to disclose information about a possible misconduct or violation could deliver such information for the attention of the team dedicated to process such information.
The recurring cases of xenophobic attacks on Nigerians abroad, particularly in South Africa, is the focus on Tuesday Live this week. Tuesday Live, informative, educative, and engaging. Don't be told. Join us.
Thank you for remaining with NTA Network News. The federal government has restated its commitment to providing good roads and other critical infrastructure for socio-economic and political development of the country. Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, stated this while inaugurating the just completed repair work on the Abuja-Kaduna Highway. Works and Housing correspondent Muhammad Hamza Sheikh reports.
With a total length of 165 kilometers, the Abuja-Kaduna emergency repair work was necessitated by the proposed maintenance works on the runway of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, during which the Kaduna Airport is designated to serve as an alternative. Awarded at the cost of 1.058 billion naira, the work included the patching of notorious potholes, reinstatement of failed pavement sections, strengthening of existing surface, and resurfacing with asphaltic concrete overlay. The minister,
Ambassador in Nigeria, Hakan Shikal in Abuja. The minister said that the use of Kaduna Airport will be for only 6 weeks, starting from the 8th of March, to enable the Nigeria rehabilitate the runway of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Hadi Sirika reiterated the position of the federal government to count on all airline operators that will understand with the nation in this time of need and assured them of the government's openness and preparedness to work with all serious-minded and sincere operators. The minister welcomed the interest of the Turkish government and Turkish companies in Nigeria's aviation industry and assured them of the federal government's resolve to strengthen the partnership. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, the National Population Commission, and the National Assembly have been urged to adhere to the constitutional provisions that will ensure proper representation of Nigerians through their constituencies. These are the views of legal and constitutional experts at a roundtable held in Abuja on constituency delimitation. Femi Okewo has the report.
Sections 73 and 74 of the 1999 Constitution directs the nation's electoral body to review the division of states into senatorial districts and federal constituencies at intervals not less than 10 years. Delimitation of electoral constituencies makes it logistically easier to conduct elections and allows the country to cater for population growth and geographical dynamics. But experts at a round table held in Abuja warned that Nigeria has not been faithful to the intent and cause of delimitation, thereby denying a great number of citizens fair representation in governance.
The non-resolution of these discrepancies through a delimitation of constituency review has led to court actions after general elections.
The Constitution says use the latest. But from 2007, all the elections we have had did not comply with this requirement because in 2006 we had a new census because
organizers say that the recommendations of the roundtable will be passed to the bodies saddled with the constitutional responsibilities as a guide.
The motive is to put this into the public domain. Happily, INEC seem to have taken a hint and they are already setting up committees. But I think it should go beyond just setting up committees.
Once a national census is held, there are quite a number of other events that must precede a general election. Delimitation is just one of them. It will therefore mean that the agenda for Nigeria is quite loaded preceding the 2019 general elections. In Abuja, Femi Okewo, NTA News.
Wife of the President, Aisha Buhari, has emphasized the need for well-meaning Nigerians and other non-governmental organizations to continue to show commitment towards supporting the less privileged persons and other groups, especially women and children. This is in a message at the foundation laying ceremony of the orphanage tagged Aisha Buhari Foundation Orphanage and School. State House correspondent Aliyu Kabir reports.
Available records show that about 42,000 orphans out of over 1 million displaced persons are currently taking refuge at various internally displaced persons camps. These victims of insurgency required basic necessities of life such as food, education, clean drinking water, medical services, as well as security and shelter. The foundation laying ceremony of the Aisha Buhari Foundation Orphanage and School by the Deputy Governor of Borno State, Usman Maman Durkwa, who stood in for the Governor Kashim Shatima, is a bold step towards that direction, which is the idea of the wife of the President. The project, when completed, will cater for about 2,000 youth, women and children, and will have the facilities such as 12 classrooms of nursery and primary schools, 24 classrooms of secondary school section, boys and girls hostels, ICT centers and laboratories, staff quarters, multi-purpose hall, skills acquisition center, as well as health facility. The senior special assistant to the wife of the President, Dr. Hajosani, represented the wife of the President.
Her Excellency is really passionate. She's about humanity. She was here personally in one of the largest camps in Dalori, and she has seen the situation of the children and women. So for her, there's always a starting point. In her own case, she decided to start here in Bonu, knowing the magnitude of the problem. This very facility, I know, is going to be a big relief, and it's also going to be a challenge to other well-meaning Nigerians, as well as philanthropists, both at national and international level, to come.
As part of their continuous support, the Borno State government provided the land strategically located for that purpose. It is directly opposite to the 2,000-unit housing estate, which is under construction for the victims by a philanthropist, and it is also a trackable distance to Dalori IDP camp, catering for over 25,000 internally displaced persons.
This will complement the effort of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Borno, and also we are looking for more so that it will be less burden on both Her Excellency, the First Lady, and burden of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Borno. This one we believe Her First Lady want to do it to tell the public-spirited individual that this is where to help humanity.
The children expressed their happiness for this kind gesture. In Maiduguri, Borno State capital, Aliyu Kabir, NTA News.
Co-chair of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, French Gates, was recently the guest of the wife of the President, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari. The visit is part of efforts to promote health and economic status of women and children in Nigeria.
Let me at this point affirm my commitment to continue to advocate and mobilize resources to improve the lives of women and children in Nigeria. I thank you for the interest you are showing in my Future Assured program.
The full package of the visit and other activities of the wife of the President will be broadcast at 10 o'clock tonight on the network service of the NTA. All NTA stations are advised to remain with the network service. There is yet growing concern over drug abuse among youths in the country, especially in some states in the northern part of Nigeria. Rehabilitation and how to stop the menace is the thrust of discussions at the Northern Governors' Wives Forum held in Abuja. Laure Bala Hassan was there and now reports.
The theme for the forum is Say No to Drug Abuse. It is part of supporting their spouses, particularly on issues affecting women, children, the girl child, and other negative vices in the society. Wife of Zamfara State Governor and the chairperson of the forum said measures are being put in place to curb the menace by raising awareness and providing testing centers.
People just tend to pretend that this is not a problem. So we felt this is a good opportunity to lend our voices as wives of governors, as leaders in our various states, to come out and fight this, and it's a very good cause.
Some of the governor's wives agree that inadequate educational exposure, peer pressure, and absence of certain family values are factors that drive some people to drugs.
We are ignorant about it, but I'm so happy that this time around we all decided collectively to look into the future of our children.
As mothers, as role models, as leaders in our society, we should lend our strong voice in fighting drug addiction.
This is one thing that we must tackle if we're going to get to the bottom of it, is the regulation, the patent medicine stores. That is where it comes from.
At the end of their deliberations, they resolved to partner organizations that will foster realization of the project at the national and state levels. In Abuja, Laure Bala Hassan, NTA News.
NTA's news sports programs to thrill Nigerians. Details with Ademola Adioye in Lagos. But first, Demola, tell us about ASCON's Young African Initiative.
Kudu, thank you. I have the story here. Good evening and warm welcome to Lagos. Inculcating the required leadership skills in young people has been identified as the panacea to solving the myriad of problems confronting the continent of Africa. This was the submission of speakers at the inauguration of the second cohort of the Young African Leaders Initiative, YALI, organized by the Administrative Staff College of Nigeria, ASCON, in collaboration with the YALI Regional Leadership Center, West Africa, held in Topo Badagry, Lagos. Tunde Saiki has the detail.
The 104 participants are from Nigeria, Ghana, Burkina Faso, and Cote d'Ivoire. Others are from the Gambia, Liberia, Cameroon, Sierra Leone, and Togo. In the next 5 weeks, ASCON is expected to train them in the areas of ethics, leadership, entrepreneurship, and networking.
We need to employ young people who have ideas about technology and all of that to make sure that they apply the technology to health issues that can help our people to live. Anybody that sets his heart to change things will find a way to do so. Because it's not a time for people to wait for somebody to do it. We must make the decision that we are the change that the country needs.
They should not do the things the usual way, that look, this is how we do it. But what are the changes within the environment? What are the changes in the world at large?
Some of the participants promised to utilize the knowledge the cohort will provide.
After YALI, I'll go and contribute my quota and charge them to do something for themselves as entrepreneurs.
We realize that Africa is a continent with so many vast potentials, but in spite of that, we still have so many challenges.
My expectations for the YALI program here is to enter to learn and go out to serve the Gambian people out there.
A pre-inaugural dinner was earlier held for participants. Some of the youths used the platform to display their talents to the admiration of the guests. At the end of this training, 1,000 out of the expected 4,000 beneficiaries would have graduated from the Young African Leadership Initiative sponsored by the USAID for the African youths. In Lagos, Tunde Saiki, NTA News.
The Nigerian Television Authority is set to take its rightful place in broadcast sports in the country, with the coming of a live TV sports show tagged Sports Parliament. The 1-hour program, which is set to make its debut on Thursday at 11 p.m. on the network service of the NTA, has great sports icons as panelists. The Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, met with the originators of the show today in Lagos. Lil Lenike has the details.
Receiving members of the Sports Parliament in Lagos alongside the management of the Lagos Network Center, the Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, described the sports show tagged Sports Parliament, capable of addressing the challenges militating against sports development in the country. He expressed delight at the caliber of eminent persons in the Sports Parliament TV show, adding that the show will set the standards in sports broadcasting given the reach the NTA provides.
This is part of the efforts now being made, to restore NTA to its position of eminence in sports television in this country. And while doing that, we had to think of people who are capable of restoring that lost glory. And if you're talking sports, football in particular in Nigeria, and sports generally, they cannot come bigger than Chief Segun Adegbami, who is going to be the anchor of the program.
The NTA has a social responsibility to see that anything and everything that is Nigerian becomes an excellent idea, becomes an excellent event, becomes excellence in all its ramifications.
Leader of the delegation and Speaker of the Sports Parliament, Segun Adegbami, appreciated the Director General of NTA for providing a platform where sports policies can be influenced and also the power of sports can be used to empower youths.
A program such as this, on a medium that belongs to the stakeholders, particularly government as numero uno, should attract attention of even government. And when you assemble the crème of technocrats in different sectors of sports to come every week and discuss, debate, and interrogate issues in sports.
It's time to actually influence what kind of agenda that is set for sport, so that sport goes from being just participatory to being something that lifts the nation and creates wealth for both its practitioners and its investors.
The Director General NTA, alongside members of the Sports Parliament, inspected the studio set for the program. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
You're still watching NTA Network News. It's now time for us to take another break for some messages, after which the news continues from Abuja. Stay with us.
Break free with EasyClick and get the freedom to choose your bonus. Choose 350% bonus to call your peeps on a T-Select, or 250% bonus to call other networks, or get 100% data bonus to connect you to the world. Also enjoy unlimited access to digital content. Dial *545# to choose your preferred EasyClick bonus. EasyClick, freedom to choose.
The Net Management Office, DMO, on behalf of the federal government of Nigeria, is offering the general public an opportunity to invest and contribute to national development for the federal government of Nigeria's savings bond. Investment in the FGN Savings Bond will lead to poverty reduction and create employment opportunities. FGN Savings Bond have attractive features: guaranteed fixed income, quarterly interest payment, use of investment as collateral for loans, can be sold at the secondary market, good for savings towards school fees, marriage, and house projects. Please visit www.dmo.gov.ng, your stockbroker or financial advisor. FGN Savings Bond for national development. This message is from the Debt Management Office.
You're on to NTA Network News, coming to you live from our Abuja Network studios. Newly established Development Bank of Nigeria set to commence operations as foreign development banks pump in $1.3 billion. Vivian Idekpefo has details of these and more on Business News.
Good evening and welcome to the Business News segment. We begin with cheerful news for the micro, small and medium enterprises as the Development Bank of Nigeria is set to take off. The Federal Ministry of Finance in a statement confirmed the completion of key recruitments and the formal application for the issuance of its operational license from the Central Bank of Nigeria. The operations of DBN, it will not in any way result in the elimination of other banks or any other development institution for that matter, as it is distinctly focused on supporting small businesses defined by size and not by sector. The bank will kickstart with $1.3 billion. The Nigerian equities market ends the month of February on a negative note, shedding 0.17%. Here is a summary of Tuesday's closing figures on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. On that note, we conclude business news segment for this hour. Now to the rest of the bulletin.
The Nigerian Air Force says it has adapted its L-39ZA trainer aircraft for combat role. The decision, according to the Director of Public Relations, Group Captain Ayodele Famuyiwa, is informed by the need to commit more platforms to various internal security operations. The Air Force employed the aircraft solely for basic flying training, capable of undertaking light ground attacks. The firing display footage was conducted at the Nigeria Air Force Air Range in Kwenef, Makudi, Benue State. Up ahead, global tidbits, some sports news, and a look at weather prospects for Wednesday. Don't go away.
Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is working to ensure access to safe, good quality essential medicines with the World Health Organization pre-qualification of made in Nigeria pharmaceutical products, stiffer penalties for fake drug offenders with a review of NAFDAC laws, national, regional, and international collaborations, cutting-edge technologies, including the mobile authentication service.
NAFDAC impacts upon everything we do, including water we drink, the food we eat. They are important organs to the development of this country. And everybody should come out and join them and support them and help them to achieve the greatest benefits and success that they need to record.
Let us support NAFDAC to win the war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
Tries to light the fires, he has done too. Emenike on a wingy!
Africa's largest television network, the NTA, sets the agenda for Nigeria sports with a new program, The Sports Parliament, a weekly night of conversation by experts on some of the most critical issues in Nigeria sport, examined through national and international lenses. Sports Parliament is an assembly of some of the best brains in sports, taking on issues as never before. Members of Parliament include Osasu Obayuwana, lawyer and journalist, Mumini Alao, analyst, Godwin Dudu Orumen, lawyer and administrator, Nkechi Obi, marketer and analyst, Kunle Raji, consultant, Adetunji Adeyinka, private sector expert, Aniefyok Udo Obong, Olympic gold medalist, Shola Akinwale, former international player, Abdurrahman Ibn Mohammed, journalist and sports commentator, Tanko Yunusa Abdullahi, journalist, Aki Amawo, medical consultant, the speaker, former international player, author, sports writer and consultant, Shegu Odewami, live from the NTA studios in Lagos every Thursday night from 11 o'clock. The Sports Parliament, taking the conversation on sports to a new level, coming soon to your screens.
Played out wide by Babatunde. Two in the middle. Oh, they've got an equaliser!
Chimdima Nduwisi is here with the global tidbits.
Somalia's President Mohamed Abdullahi says the devastating drought in the country is a national disaster, going by the United Nations statistics, which shows that more than half of the population, numbering over 6.2 million, are in dire need of help. Also, more than 300,000 children are malnourished and need quick nutritional aid. The president is therefore appealing for emergency intervention. And the United Nations, in its latest report, indicts Libya as a child migrant abuse hub. 26,000 children, most of them unaccompanied, crossed the Mediterranean Sea last year. Lack of food, water and medical care in Libya's detention center is another source of concern. In South Africa, the official brought in to clean up corruption and waste at the Railways Authority has been sacked for granting himself a 350% pay rise. On Kim Jong-nam's death, Malaysian prosecutors say the two women suspected to be involved in the killing of North Korea's leader's half-brother are to be charged with murder on Wednesday. That's Global Tidbits. Chimdema Ndubisi, NTA News.
And Dende Sani has the sports update.
The president of the Nigerian Football Federation, Amaju Pinnick,